But, you really do need to get a lot of vegetables and fruits, and then you need your protein, right? And fiber. When you're getting your micronutrients, you're also getting the fiber because a lot of the micronutrients are coming from plants, which are a great source of both fermentable and non-fermentable fiber, right? So I think it's a really simple way. There's so many fad diets out there, right?
Yeah.
Carnivore, keto, vegetarian, paleo.
Yeah.
And although I do think paleo is the closest thing to what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But what I'm talking about is even simpler, because what it really means is that you understand why you need food. What's the purpose of food, right? The purpose of food is to provide you with these essential vitamins and minerals and fatty acids like omega-3 and protein and fiber to improve gut health. That's the purpose of eating.
And fuel.
Right. And so that means you don't need ultra-processed foods. That means, if you're eating something like just carnivore diet, you're going to be missing out on a lot of micronutrients. Yeah. It's going to be very hard.
I have a theory, which is like, I have many theories. One theory I have is that we're so depleted in these nutrients, and it dysregulates our appetite. And so when you're eating ultra-processed food, there's no nutrients in there. And so when a kid is iron deficient, it'll eat dirt. It's called pica, and to try to get some iron from the dirt. And I think so many people in this country are so nutrient deficient that they're just eating more and more of the ultra-processed food. It's like they're looking for love in all the wrong places.
Have you heard of the protein leverage hypothesis?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's kind of the same thing where, your body needs a certain amount of protein to run optimally. And if you're eating, there's been a couple of randomized controlled trials on this. I think it's like Steven Simpson is one of the proponents of it. It was like 2000s or something. And that essentially, if you're eating ultra-processed foods, which are high in, a lot of refined carbohydrates, low in protein, that you overeat to sort of try to get enough protein.
Exactly.
So it does make sense if your body's looking for more of micronutrients, more vitamins, more minerals, more protein, that you start to overeat. And are you familiar with Kevin Hall's study that he published a couple of years ago?
You mean the ultra-processed food, where they had 500 calories more?
They had 500. Yeah. So for people listening,
ultra-processed food. Yeah.
Exactly. They had, two diets. They had a whole foods diet, which was essentially mostly they were getting salads, and they were getting poultry and lean meats and some fish, oatmeal. Yeah. And then there was the ultra-processed foods diet.
And they were trying to match them for macronutrients.
So they were matched for calories. They were matched for total sugar, although the added sugar in the ultra-processed foods group was like a huge difference. I mean, it was like something like 70 or 80% versus 1%. So the sugars in the whole foods diet were coming from fruit, which has a fiber matrix, right? So they were matched for that. Exactly. So the added sugar was not matched, although total sugar was, right? And then protein was somewhat matched. The whole foods had a little bit more protein. It was like something like 15.6% in whole foods diet versus 14% in the ultra processed foods diet. And they were given, so a lot of things were matched, and they were given these foods, in a sort of metabolic ward where they came in and eat, and they had 60 minutes to eat the meal ad libitum, right? So they could eat as much or as little as they want.
Yeah. So you got a big, as much like giant buffet, eat as much as you want. Like you got 60 minutes.
Right.
And then they did it. And then the group that eat the ultra-processed food ate 500 calories more a day. And just to do the math on that, 500 calories times 7 is 3,500 calories. That's 1 pound of weight gain. So you add that up, that's 52 pounds of weight gain in a year. No wonder America's overweight.
Yeah.
Right?
I didn't do that math. I know that I just read the results, which was 2 pounds. They gained 2 pounds in 2 weeks, whereas the whole foods diet lost 2 pounds in 2 weeks.
Well, let's say 2 pounds, right? 2 weeks, 27. Yep. It's like, you do the math. It's like, but you add that up over a year, and then you add up year over year. It's like, that's why we're seeing this sort of just incredible level of severe obesity and diabetes. And I mean, it's just, the latest data I saw was sort of shocking, was that 38% of teenagers have prediabetes.
Wow.
That's like, what? I mean, it didn't even exist when I graduated. I'm old, but it didn't exist when I graduated from medical school. Like, we didn't have it. We never saw a kid.
There's been studies that have looked at like healthy individuals, and they've given them, they were actually young men. They gave them a 20-ounce sugar-sweetened beverage, sort of akin to like a soda, Coke or something. And they did this for 3 weeks. And after that 3-week mark, their C-reactive protein biomarker for inflammation went up 100%. They're small, dense LDL. So these are lipoproteins that are transporting. Yeah, they're
the ones that are causing more heart disease.
Exactly, causing more atherosclerosis. They went up as well. This was just after 3 weeks, and
eating ultra processed food.
Of a sugar sweetened beverage, which is the ultimate, right? That's the ultimate.
Yeah, ultra processed.
But the reality is
but
that
it's gluten free.
It's gluten free, yes, but it's causing inflammation, massive inflammation at the level of the gut. And so you can take healthy people and dramatically change their profile within a matter of weeks of having, this ultra processed foods, these sugar sweetened beverages, which again,
and they deplete nutrients, because I think people don't realize that, one, you're not getting them, but two, you actually need nutrients to actually run your biochemistry. And so you're trying to burn these calories and burn the food, but you're actually depleted in the very nutrients required to run the metabolic pathways to actually metabolize the food. So you're kind of, getting it from both sides. Yeah.
Like a two-hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you love that last video, you're going to love the next one. Check it out here.